Hello and good day, everyone. Thanks for joining MeteoMark's Weather here. I'm meteorologist Mark Milner. We're going to be taking a look at the severe weather, more importantly, flooding and tornadoes. As we continue through the next couple weeks, eastern North America could be getting a tremendous amount of storminess, which translates to not only severe weather, but areas getting training rainfall over and over again over the same areas. And there's another feature, the tropics might actually be waking up early here. As we get towards the end of the month, third and fourth week, we are tracking a potential tropical wave as we get a potential precipitation anomaly here across parts of the Caribbean. This could actually set up just off the southeast coast, bringing it in the area of the Bahamas towards Memorial Day weekend. We'll see what the chances of this happening and more. And is there still trouble brewing out here into the Western Pacific? Do we still have a chance of Typhoon coming towards the middle part of the month? We'll get into all the details later on in this video. Don't forget, I released my 2024 Hurricane Outlook. I have a link in the description down below and at the end of this video. So if you haven't caught what I think is going to happen this tropical season, along with how many hurricanes, major hurricanes, tropical storms, and how this could play out in which areas could be targeted the most, don't forget to watch that if you haven't already. Let's get into it. And water temperatures are still warming up here. Look at the Gulf. It's really starting to look like the MDR of the Atlantic. We are just warming these areas up to tremendous levels. This is more realistically approaching what looks like mid-July rather than mid-May. And one thing we're looking at here, you can see the activity has died down a bit here in the Caribbean islands, but if you notice this hazy, this brown hazy area, this is the dust, Saharan dust that is alive and well here, spreading all across the Caribbean. That is going to preclude any sort of development, at least in the short term here. And if we take a look at the satellite across the rest of the Atlantic basin, you can see there is that big area of Saharan dust, even all the way up here, just south of the Azores as well. You can see this is quite a bit of dust. This will continue to dissipate throughout the season, but it's going to take a couple months, to scour some of this out. So right now we got a big plume that is heading to the west here, and at least in the short term, say over the next week or so, it's going to preclude development at the very least. So for your tropical update here, yeah, look at this. We got this big old area of high pressure here across the northeast Atlantic, just southwest of the Azores. That's going to keep that intertropical convergence zone pretty far to the south here. We have that dust that I talked about, and that is going to continue to be a thing at least for the next week or so. So as we go out in time, you can see very little in the way of development of anything. It looks really quiet, much quieter than the past couple weeks here across the Caribbean. You can see just a few showers moving in towards May 14th, even into Central America here. Most of the activity will be from Nicaragua southward here. Very dry up and through parts of the Yucatan, Belize, Honduras, these areas. You can see up here across parts of the northern Bahamas, you're seeing a little bit in the way of some frontal boundary action. Now, as we continue to head in time here towards the middle of the month, the 15th, you can see that Bermuda high setting up. We got a double barrel high. And you can see the intertropical convergence zone out here becoming a little bit further to the north. We're going to continue to watch for a few showers from Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Haiti, over to Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, Lesser Antilles. But as we continue in time, yeah, towards, say, May 17th, these areas around Trinidad and Tobago, yeah, we could be looking at, some problems here with some heavy rain. So, this time of year, it's your turn. Starting out here across the southern Lesser Antilles, we could be looking at some heavy downpours. And as we continue to move out in time here, you can see that intertropical convergence zone stays pretty stationary here. Mostly quiet with a few showers here across parts of the central and northern Lesser Antilles as well. And then we head towards the 22nd. We start to see this intertropical convergence zone becoming a little bit further to the north. We see what could be a tropical wave by this point. Now watch this. Indications are some positive precipitation anomalies here. And you can see that kind of pushing to the north here. We may have a tropical wave here into the eastern Caribbean. We just zoom out a little bit. You can see, look at this. Yeah, this is quite a bit of moisture with it. A lot can change between now and then, but look what's happening here. High pressure right around Bermuda. could allow this thing to push to the north here towards the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, these areas, and we could be looking at a tremendous amount of rain, and that could translate up here towards parts of the Bahamas as well. So this is an area we're going to continue to watch as we go towards the later part of the month. We have time to watch this, and look at that. Could we actually have a low center developing here, some sort of closed off low? This is something we're going to keep a close eye on, and look at that on the Eastern Pacific side. Could we actually have our first tropical storm? It's quite possible. All right, so taking a look at the latest trends here in the tropics, you can see we're in a drying trend, which makes sense because we saw that on the model here. But as we head towards, say, here it is. It's May 18th through the 25th here. You can start to see there's that positive precipitation anomaly. Here's the intertropical convergence zone out here off the coast of Africa, pretty far to the south. But we start to see an influx of moisture again from the southeast here. And as we head through the first part of the end of the month here into first part of June, look at this. This is like an explosion of precipitation. This, to me, means that we're going to see an uptick of tropical activity. And there is that area. There's actually two areas in particular, bullseyes, for precipitation anomalies here. And as we continue to go through June here, that just pushes towards the northwest here, towards South Florida. So, you're starting to see this big influx of moisture. This is towards the mid-June, and then we head towards mid to late June here. Look at that. There's the last frame you can see. Look at this. This is a whole train of moisture. Just in my hurricane outlook that I posted a couple weeks ago, link is in the description down below if you haven't caught that, or at the end of this video. Yeah, there is going to be that surge of tropical moisture. And you can see here, look at over to our other model throughout the month of June. We're going to see that big surge of moisture continuing. And then let's just go out to July. There it is, expanding all the way up into the Gulf of Mexico. And there it is for August. We're just solidifying. This is actually even more impressive than when I did my hurricane outlook just a few weeks ago. And here it is on our other model. Let's just back that up just a little bit. There's May. They're across the parts of the northern and northeastern Caribbean islands. And then as we head to June here, you can see there's that surge continuing, and just throughout, we're just solidifying our evidence here that we are in for a very long and rough hurricane season. ENSO index shows that we are pretty much in parity neutral here in mid-May for El Nino versus La Nina. So now we're starting to transition over to a weak La Nina. And that's showing up here across the Eastern Pacific. You can see more areas of darker blue than you see that lighter, warmer colors. So that essentially means we are swinging towards a La Nina very quickly here. So for our Western Caribbean view here, Central America, what is going on? So you know what? Things are quieting down just slightly. Although through the mid part of the week here, Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, you could pick up close to 25 to 40 millimeters. That's about 3/4 of an inch on average. You have to go down here into Costa Rica, these areas, southern Nicaragua, over here towards the Pacific side to get into any, heavier precipitation. But look at as we cruise through time here. It's not until about the 23rd, 24th, 25th. Look what starts to happen. There's like positive signals that we could see a big, formation of some sort of tropical wave here. Is this a signal we're going to have to keep a close eye on here? Jamaica, Hispaniola, Eastern Cuba, Turks and Caicos here of southeastern Bahamas, Puerto Rico. This could put you up towards 100 to as much as 200 millimeters of rain. That is 4 to as much as 8+ inches. As we go to the Eastern Caribbean here, what is going on? Not too much, through Thursday of this coming week. You'll get those showers here from time to time, anywhere from 25 to 40 millimeters here. Nothing more than 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. But here it is. We start to get towards the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. There it is. That is signaling some sort of tropical wave. Maybe the first major one of the season. We'll have to take a look, but this is kind of troubling. We could be looking upwards of 100 to close to 200 millimeters in some of these areas, 4 to 8+ inches. Severe weather for your Sunday, unfortunately. Mother's Day, you're going to have to be dealing with severe weather here across eastern Texas, especially just east of Austin, north of Houston, into west central parts of Louisiana, damaging wind, large hail, tornadoes, and flood threat. And that expands eastward here as we head during the day on Monday. We're going to be watching most of eastern and southern Texas, all of Louisiana, southern Arkansas, western Mississippi, all getting in on the act of severe weather, damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornadoes, and a really bad flood threat. So if we look at our HRRR future radar here, you can see what's going on. We got a bunch of storminess up here as we continue through the rest of Saturday evening into Saturday night here. Look at this. We could be lining up some very strong, gusty thunderstorms here with very heavy rains across parts of central Pennsylvania. Thankfully, none of these will be horribly severe. So just on a lot of heavy rain as this upper level low continues to spin here across the Northeast. So we could be looking at an area of very storminess as we head throughout Sunday as well. Look at as we head throughout the day. We'll continue to fill this area in with scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's mainly the morning hours of Mother's Day that you'll have to deal with that rain. There it is. There's 10 p.m. Saturday evening, and then look at that overnight, 6 a.m. waking up. Mother's Day, we're going to continue to bring these showers and thunderstorm chances here. There's that next batch as we head towards 5 a.m. on Monday morning. Now, there's some activity out here into the southern plains. This is where we'll be dealing with a tremendous amount of thunderstorm action, and some of these could be very severe as we head towards 9 a.m. on Mother's Day morning. Look at this. This is not what you want to be waking up to. Across the area from Waco, Abilene, these areas up towards the Panhandle. And look at that, some heavy rain across parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. This really explodes towards noon. Look at this. Not only could we see damaging wind, large hail, some isolated tornadoes in this area, but we could very well see some tremendous amount of flooding as areas that see the same storms over and over again will have a tendency to get, that training rainfall over and over and over again. And look at this, as we head towards 5 p.m. on Sunday into 6 p.m., 7 p.m., Louisiana and Southeast Texas here getting in on the act. You can see Oklahoma City up here as well, some strong thunderstorms. So we're looking at some very active weather as we head, unfortunately, here into Mother's Day. Look at that. Strong thunderstorms continuing across the Gulf Coast areas. So watch out. Yeah, severe weather, damaging wind, large hail, tornadoes, but don't forget about the potential for flooding. Don't forget, no matter what it's doing here across the East, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hopefully it's better weather than what is showing up here on our future radar. So for Synoptic view here, let's just back it up here through the weekend just a little bit here. So waking up here, Mother's Day, Sunday here, look at this. So yeah, these are the two active areas, actually 3 active areas. It's nice out west here. Canada weather, look at that. You could see thunderstorms all the way up into northern Ontario. So I do have Canadian weather a little bit later in this video. I do have a timestamp down below as well. So here we go. Let's just continue. So it will be unsettled across the lakes here, especially the Northeast, Eastern Great Lakes, and the Southern Plains. Now, severe weather, that could become a thing, flooding as well. So we're going to watch for that. Showery here across the lakes in the Northeast for your Sunday, unfortunately. And that's going to continue throughout this week. The common theme here is severe weather outbreaks across parts of the Deep South here. Flooding. So, many of these areas seeing the same amount of thunderstorm complexes over and over again. And you can see here through the 14th as well, this low riding up through the Mississippi River Valley. High pressure building just off the U.S. East Coast, so that slows these storm systems down. You see essentially towards midweek here, the 15th, right around Wednesday, we have this primary low becoming more of a fading memory here, the secondary low taking over across Virginia. So that's going to surge moisture right up the coast into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So yeah, more of what you've already seen time and time again. We actually form a coastal low here in mid-May. So it's just going to be a terrible sort of day here across the Northeast. And then finally some clearing here for Thursday, the 16th. But look at that. The next storm system right on its heels here. Severe weather and flooding. More rain building here across the Midwest and the Great Lakes eventually here. And look at this as we head towards, you guessed it, look at this, towards the 17th into the 18th. Next weekend, I hate to say it, but we're just setting ourselves up here for disappointment here in the Ohio Valley in the Northeast. More rain continuing, and look at that. That just blossoms into a potential nor'easter type coastal low again towards the 18th. Here's our next system across the Gulf Coast. This could develop into something big, maybe a severe weather outbreak. We're going to have to watch that, but that's also more heavy rain on top already saturated soil. And as we continue through the 20th, we're going to continue through late May here. You can see the severe weather outbreaks start to get a bit further to the north again here as we head towards the 20th into the 21st. And then look at that, Ohio Valley into the northeast. Yeah, this is just one storm system after another through the Mississippi River Valley. This is getting into Memorial Day weekend. And here it is. There's that thing I mentioned here in the tropics. Could this be our big wild card across the southeast, maybe the Gulf or the East Coast? Rainfall is going to be the big thing here over the next several days. So as we just head throughout the rest of the weekend, you can see where the washout is likely to occur here across the southern plains, lower Mississippi River Valley. Here into the northeastern Ohio River Valley to about a quarter to a half an inch of rain. Anywhere across the southern plains here, that's where we'll be looking at, more like close to 1 to 2 inches. And if we want to just continue through the rest of the week here, look at that next, the new week here, all the way through next weekend. We'll stop at next Saturday. Look at this. This is just, out west, it's like summertime has sprung here, but look at here across the plains, Gulf Coast areas. This is 4 to 8 inches down here into some of these yellows and oranges. Even up here into the northeast, look at that. That's a solid 2.5 to 3.5 inches. And if we just continue to cruise out here in time, look at this. The same areas. This is through Monday, Memorial Day here, essentially. Look at this large area in the yellow, 4+ inches. Some of these darker oranges, you're up to 8 to 10 inches. This is a really bad weather pattern to be in. And unfortunately, it's going to turn more towards a flood threat rather than a severe weather threat. So flood threat running very high here. And Joe Drehos here from the Johnson City, New York area. Look at this. This is a sunset the other evening. Looking at a beautiful reddish tint here. Looks kind of ominous, but really nice, actually. You can't really get much more. I mean, you could get redder than this, but this is really quite a nice capture. As that sun dip below the horizon, you get those clouds that are moving in from the west, and they're at various levels, and you get the refracting of the light, the lower sun angle this time of evening, and it really helps to paint a really nice reddish picture. You get that glow here as well. You can see that reddish glow kind of bouncing off everything. Nice captures here, Joe Drehos from Johnson City, New York. So if we just continue a little bit through Lucas D. from Linden, Texas, his video of the eclipse from last month, you can see, yeah, there was quite a bit away the clouds, but the clouds really gave it some character. You can see, look at that. Just some brilliant captures there of the eclipse as the moon slowly covered up the sun there. Just really picture perfect across the area there. So I showed you some photos and parts of the video last video, and here it is again. You can see just breathtaking, stunning view of the path to totality here. Look at that. Nice captures, Lucas. Upper air pattern here on our European run shows that trough continuing across the eastern part of North America as we head through mid-month here into the third week. We're just going to set up camp here of a very stormy time of it across eastern North America. And continuing here with our climate model as we head towards Memorial Day weekend, you can see, yeah, we start to continue to see that ridge building out west, that trough in the east. That's going to promote storminess continuing into mid-June here. Look at this. So this is rather interesting here across the eastern Gulf. Could this be signaling that we could be seeing a major uptick in hurricane development and tropical storms? We'll have to wait and see here because look how far to the west our Bermuda high is. Our Canadian weather outlook here. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Yeah, we still have snow up here towards Hudson Bay. That can be expected this time of year, but we're going to be pushing a strong cold front here through parts of Ontario and western Quebec over Sunday and Monday here. So this is something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Could we have severe weather into parts of Ontario and Quebec? It's quite possible, but most of this should be small hail, just gusty winds. Look at that, some snow wrapping around here. But this is towards the mid part of the week, 15th. You can see, look at this, another coastal low moving up into Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, parts of Quebec. Here's our next system, and look at this. We're just lining them up here. Pacific Northwest to the U.S. gets kind of quiet. That's going to push that jet stream to the north into British Columbia, and that's where we're going to start to see a lot of storm systems. It gets very active. You know what? This is way different than it was last year, though. You know, we had the wildfires beginning, and this is great news because we've seen a complete reversal here of precipitation. And as we head towards the 19th into the 20th, you can see these upper level lows just get hung up here across eastern Canada. I know that's horrible for your weather, but it's great for wildfire season because it kind of precludes any of those major wildfires from developing. Now here, this is May 22nd here. You can see along the U.S.-Canadian border, lots of rain. We have a few light systems out here in the plains, and then kind of clearing a little bit, giving you a little break up here into the Canadian Maritimes. But, as we continue through the end of the month, yeah, we're going to start seeing some of these lows move up right into central Quebec here. That could bring us some strong to severe thunderstorms across southern Ontario and Quebec here, even New Brunswick. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on as we continue through time. Rainfall amounts are going to be quite high. This is almost like an Arctic front, for this time of year. You can see just the rain switching to snow, wet snowflakes on the backside. This is towards May 27th. And looking up here into Canada for your precipitation, look at this. Wow. Yeah, Southeast Canada, the big winner here for maximum precipitation as we head throughout the new week here. So this weekend, yeah, it's going to be very unsettled across much of Canada, except the part of British Columbia out there. We just take it through the end of the month here. Look at this. Yeah, there's a big positive area of heavy precipitation from New Brunswick, north of Nova Scotia towards Newfoundland here. Also Ontario, Quebec, and then out here into the Rocky Mountains. So there's a lot. I mean, we're looking at excess of 100 to 150 millimeters here. That's 4 to 6 inches. Any snow to speak of here? Yeah, way up across the north here. Northern Ontario towards Hudson Bay. Northern British Columbia here and up towards the Yukon Territory. And then a little bit here up into the Canadian Maritimes, the Rocky Mountains, your standard areas here. The Western Pacific here, do we have anything going on? Well, here we go. We got a major storm system. This is pretty strong for this time of year, all the way down into South China, northern Vietnam. You can see Taiwan here, Japan here. This is a big blast of continental air to the southeast here as we head over the next couple days, heading on into Sunday and Monday. You can see high pressure retreating across the northern Pacific. That is going to give away to, this system moving up towards the northeast, towards the Aleutian Islands here. Watch this area out here. This is an area I've been watching well east of the Philippines on every model run. You can see it starts to get a little bit better organized, but on this model run, it starts to fizzle out. That's some good news for the Philippines. But watch this area across the stalled out frontal boundary, just around northern Vietnam here. Here's the northern part of the Philippines. Watch what happens here as we head towards the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Look at this. Could this develop into something tropical? Could this be something tropical? This time of year, just like along the U.S. East Coast, we have to watch out for these frontal boundaries. And yeah, it is quite possible this could be some sort of subtropical or tropical entity. It doesn't look like our modeling system blows this up into anything horribly major, but this time of year, we're going to have, a lot of, we're getting into the monsoon season here, especially as we head towards June into parts of Japan. So we're going to start seeing these big influxes of moisture, not just from the southwest, but also from the southeast. So, the Western Pacific has been quieter in recent years as the Atlantic has really blasted up. But here's another secondary system towards May 21st here. Yeah, so that system we saw around May 12th or 13th, I did the last video last weekend, it doesn't look like we're seeing much in the way. But here we go. Look at this. Towards May 26th, some sort of closed off low here towards Japan on the tail end of that frontal boundary. So the theme here is we may have to watch these fronts. Look at, there's some sort of cyclone developing over here in the Indian Ocean. So that's something we'll have to watch over here towards Bangladesh as we get towards the end of the month. I got plenty more weather for you in just a moment, but take a look at my affiliate. Do you want some awesome maps? Check this out.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
So if we look at our temperature-wise here, there's that cool air in the northeast with these systems that just keep pummeling these upper-level lows, holding into the upper 50s in most locations, near 60. It's just horrible. It's damp. It's cool. Look at Florida here, bubbling up well up into the mid to upper 80s, as well as South Texas, and much of the country being dominated by 70s and lower 80s. As we get into Monday here, look at this. We finally start to see a surge of warmer air here from the Ohio Valley into the northeast. You get into the 70s, 80s along the Gulf Coast, and look out here into the desert Southwest. You're already getting into those 100s in those desert locations into Tuesday as well. You start to see a cool shot here across the northern lakes into northern New England, back down into the 60s. So with that trough, we're just going to hang it out here with rain and cooler temperatures into the 60s, even Cleveland 66, Rochester 65, even Albany below 70. But look at here along the Gulf Coast, we continue with those 80s, and then look at this into Thursday. We start to see 80 degrees here in Pittsburgh. So we do start to see a surge of warmer air finally here ahead of the front. But, you know, that's going to be short-lived as we head into the following weekend. But here it is, Friday, May 17th. Look at that. Parts of Florida well up into the low to mid-90s here. And then 70s stretching their way from the Mississippi and Ohio River Valley northeastward here. Extended outlook from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna River Valley, New York and Pennsylvania. If we take a look Sunday, yeah, showers, especially in the morning, but that will be, you know, tapering off, so to speak. Showers scattered throughout the day. It will be cold or cool for this time of year, mid-50s. Monday, we bump those temperatures up a bit. Tuesday and Wednesday as well, back up to around 70, 72 degrees. But the problem is we're going to see continued scattered showers and maybe some thunderstorms, particularly after 5 p.m. Monday. Tuesday is an all-day rain event, just a total washout. Wednesday, we start to clear it out a little bit, but you still have that chance of scattered showers and thunder shower potential. It's not till Thursday that we start to see some clearing. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.